lovely people. So I know it's been a while. Yeah, I can count. But for the last few months, I haven't really had a lot of inspiration or motivation to really do much. But as I was thinking about the other day, I realized that I've never really explained to you guys what all this is. So here it is, the video that nobody asked for, explaining the mess that's behind me. So I figured I'd start off with the things that I didn't make because there are only a few of those. So the first thing I have, which is probably one of my favorites, is this one right here. And it's a print by a guy named Earl Newman. He's someone that has done a lot of prints and stuff for jazz festivals and stuff in the area. And I actually kind of got to meet him when he came to my school, and that's where I bought this. He is this adorable little old man who swears like a sailor, and it's just awesome. The second one I'd like to point out is this caricature, which I cannot do caricatures or anything kind of like that, so obviously this wasn't done by me. But this was actually done on my grad night, so it has me and two of my friends, and I had to wait in line pretty much the whole night in order to get these done, but I guess it was kind of worth it. Third thing I have, I'm actually going to zoom in for. This one right here was done for me by a classmate, and it's actually my original character named Lil Susie, who is over here. These are my drawings of her, and then this was her interpretation of that character. And this here was obviously not done by me, but it's a postcard from my friend, so Colleen, if you're watching this, love you. And I don't know why I put it on this wall, but I just did because it was cute, and I wanted to look at it and remember that I actually have friends who will write me stuff. And lastly is something that's actually on my ceiling, and this is a print that I actually just bought recently from somebody who does amazing artwork, and I will be linking to her store in the description. But because I am weeb trash, this is a drawing of 6 of the characters from an anime/otome game that I like. Alright, so now on to the stuff that I actually did make. So this here was from my watercolor class, and we had to do leaves. Like, we actually had to look at a leaf that my teacher had in a bag. Like, she had a bunch of dried leaves. So we had to do a sketch first, and then make a line art of it on tracing paper, and then transfer it onto watercolor paper, and then color it in. I actually got like a B on this assignment, which I thought was kind of BS, because I was actually really proud of this one. And then there was one that I really did not like. Like, I didn't think I did a good job on it, and my teacher gave me an A for that one and made me frame it. So, I don't know. I had never really questioned my art teacher's grading system up until then, but whatever. I still got an A in the class, so. And this right here is something I had to do for my understanding art class. I think I was trying to do something with radial symmetry and complementary colors. So if you see here, I think this is the only one that actually follows my rule. So these two are the same design, and then every time like there's an orange spot, there'd be a blue spot because that is orange's complementary color, and red with green, and purple with yellow, and so on, and white with black. So actually, if you took a negative photo of just these two, it would actually look, it's supposed to look like they're flip-flopped. This one, I sort of did the same thing, except I actually just reversed the order. So I started with white, red, orange, yellow, and so on. And this one, I started in the middle and went white, red, orange, yellow, and so on. And then these bottom ones here pretty much follow the same rule as this one. The only time I broke the rule, though, was with these stars in the center, because this one started off with white instead of black here, but I didn't like that, how it looked, so I ended up just coloring it black and breaking my own rule, so, but I mean, it's art, so who cares. This one here, I call Thunder and Lightning. This was for my basic design class in college. It was supposed to be non-objective, but I ended up going abstract, so I think I got docked a little bit for that, but it was still cool, so I didn't really care. But the point of this assignment was to basically use all of our new materials that were required for the class. These random lines everywhere were done with painter's tape, so the real painting wasn't even really revealed until I took all the tape off, and then it looked really, really cool. We also had to use a ruler, so there's just random lines, and that was done with a Sharpie, which is another one of our required things. I did the lightning part, and then some of the background with it. And then I took rubber cement and went over the lines with it, and then painted around the area in black. So then when I peeled off the rubber cement, it kind of gave this almost glowing effect, and it was kind of cool. And I was actually really proud of this one. And then right above that, I basically just have my sign that I made for this whole wall. It was just a random art sign that I made for this, and I really don't know why I did that, but I thought it looked cool, so I put it up there too. Now this here was actually done for my fashion design class in high school. It was actually a two-part assignment. The first one was to create a historical costume type outfit thing. And I had decided to go with Victorian because it's still probably my favorite time period for fashion because I just love how pretty the dresses and stuff look. They would have been a pain in the butt to pull off, well, both pull off and put on. I think the overall effect was always really pretty. And then the second part of the assignment was to make a, I think, more modern version of the historic fashion. And so I ended up going with steampunk because it's another thing, it's another kind of fashion sense that I really like and also wish that I could pull off. So I added a lot of like leather and more red and like chains and stuff, and she has like cogs and stuff in her hair, and she has a watch necklace, and she has a watch here. And she has like, you know, crazy red boots, and I just thought it was like really cool. And she has like spikes on her fan because I figured why not. And this right here is actually from my basic design class, my freshman year of high school. And I called this one Alice's First Encounter. So it's basically the first time that she's fallen through the rabbit hole. And so here's Alice here, and I drew giant blades of grass, and there's a table with a little cookie that says "Eat Me." Funny story, I actually wrote the "Eat Me" originally on the cookie itself, but I didn't account for it being a print and actually being backwards, so I had to scrap that, wrote it backwards this time, so that it would be forwards when I did the print, and I put it in a little sign in the cookie instead. Then I had a checkerboard going around that, as well as like vines and stuff, and I think there's like a mushroom here. And this was my artist proof, so my very first print, and that was the only one I did right, and so that was the only one that turned out halfway decent. So that's the one that I decided to display. And here we have a couple of my original characters kissing, because I wanted to practice a kissing pose. And so I watched a tutorial on it. This is how the first one turned out, which was pretty good. And then I have a couple of other random things under here. This one, I tried to do the same thing again, but it didn't with a couple of other characters, but it didn't really turn out very well, so I should probably redo that one at some point. This, I have this character again, but she's in a flying mode, and then her friend sitting here, because I was just trying to practice poses and hands and whatnot. So now that I've covered the things on the actual wall, it's time to move up to the ceiling. So this Mario one here, I actually drew everything. And this is actually like before I had Prismacolors and stuff, so all of the background was done with markers that I just found lying around. Pretty much everything is freehand, except for, I think I might have used like a bowl or something to make the curves of the mountains. And of course I used a ruler for the bricks and stuff. But besides that, everything was freehand. I was actually like really proud of this, and I remember actually wanting to get it finished before I started making videos, because I didn't want an unfinished Mario piece to be up there. These actually, they kind of look funny right now because they started to fold in on themselves, but these can actually unstick, and I put them on not cardboard, but like paper that you'd use for cards. Cardstock, that's what it's called. So you can actually move them around and stuff, but I've always just kind of liked this pose, and so I just kind of kept them there. I'm bad when it comes to commitment, so I like to be able to move them around sometimes. Now this one here is kind of a mess. I actually wanted a poster of like all my favorite things, but obviously I, one, couldn't afford a bunch of different posters of my favorite things, and two, I didn't have enough room for more than one poster. So I said, what the heck, I'll just put it all in one. Some of my interests and stuff have changed since then, but I still like all of these things. I'll just point out some of them. My favorite character of all time, Harley Quinn, if you didn't know that by now. she's there with a gun that says bang. I like horror movies, especially Nightmare on Elm Street, so I have Freddy's Claws, Jack Skellington, here's Susie again. These are actually symbols for my original characters that you saw down there. I also like Alice in Wonderland a lot, so I made the Mad Hatter's hat with a pocket watch coming out of it. I have music notes here, and they actually do form a tune. It's actually the song Memory from Cats, because it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And then I also have on here some places that I really like to visit someday, so I have the Parthenon in Greece. I would love to visit like Greece and Italy, cause me being an art nerd, I really want to visit them so badly and just, you know, take pictures of all the art and stuff and, you know, really kind of get immersed in all that. I also really want to go to France. I've forgotten pretty much all the French I learned in high school, but I'd still like to go to Paris, and London as well, so I have Big Ben there. I have bands and stuff that I like, so I have Evanescence, which is like my first band that I grew up with. Shinedown, which if you looked at my last video is the concert I went to. I have American Idiot, or Green Day, which I really love that album. And then I have Paramore, because Riot was also one of my first albums, and I really love that one. And then I also have musicals, so I have Phantom of the Opera, which I did get to see ages ago in New York, and that was amazing. This here is for Moulin Rouge, because that is one of my favorite movies. And this here is for Across the Universe. It's the strawberry looking thing. Oh, and of course I had to have bacon, because I love bacon. And then of course I have the Whopper here, because that's part of my name. And finally we have the even bigger mess over here. We were supposed to do, in my drawing class in college, like a psychological drawing. But we were allowed to use any kind of media that we wanted, so of course I went with paint. But I think the story I was kind of trying to tell was that I would get kind of confident in my art skills, so that would be these kind of blobs here, and then I'd get more creative or whatever, and then this one kind of signifies that it started off okay, but then I started to kind of doubt myself, and so it kind of like is bleeding out here. And then something I used to do all the time is I would scribble out my sketches and stuff that I didn't like. I used a pen and just kind of scribbled out all the pink that was kind of spilling out. Eventually it kind of gets to the point where it just kind of drops to the bottom and explodes in a bunch of colors, and that I guess was kind of me accepting the mess that is my artwork. This kind of border I made in charcoal and kind of just smeared out. But this is kind of the still like underlying doubt sometimes, I guess, when it comes to whatever my art is. I don't know, take for it what you will, but that's, I guess, kind of what I was going for. So yeah, if any of you have been wondering as to what all this is behind me, there you go. I'm not good at explaining things. But moving on a little bit, some things have happened since I was last here. I mean, obviously, it's been, what, 3 months? Yeah, I know that's what I just said. I turned 21 since our last visit, so now I can actually drink real alcohol. Still don't like Chardonnay, though. And just to let you guys know that at the end of this month, I'm gonna be out of town for a week in Central Oregon. So that's gonna be fun. Just me and my entire family stuck in a trailer in the middle of the desert with no Wi-Fi. Please, I need all the help I can get. It's actually really cool in Central Oregon. It's just the no Wi-Fi part that I'm kind of worried about. But it's been a few years since I've been there, and now that I actually have a channel, I plan on filming a bunch of the stuff that we're going to be doing. So if you're a geology nerd like I am, then you're actually probably going to like this next set of vlogs that I'm going to do. Most likely it's going to be more than one because it's a whole week of doing stuff. I can't wait to show it to you guys, because I like it a lot. So hopefully you can look forward to that. And let me know if you want to see art that isn't on my walls. Like, for example, what could possibly be in this giant tube. But that is all I have for you today, so until next time, bye. I don't really get how people like this stuff. I mean, it's literally grapes that have gone bad. We're gonna hang around Portland and just kind of make a day of it. I don't know how much I'm legally going to be able to film while I'm actually at the concert, but I will make sure to film plenty and as much as I can around Portland today. So I've got my cool pants on and I am ready to go.